In your packet, if you look, you can see that you have a sheet that says puppet preview. And I actually have these puppets here, and I wanted to show you. The one I don't have here that I'm sad about is the little chameleon. They have, and these are all Folk Banis puppets. We can order them at 50% of the cost that's on the website. Then the company does add a 15% shipping and handling fee, 15% of the half price cost. So it is a very inexpensive way to add to your puppet collection if you'd like to do that. We ordered the chameleon a long time back in November, and they told us that the chameleons were back ordered already then, and they would be here by June 1st. I'm not holding my breath, but they did have a lot of other puppets that have really nice tails. So let me show you. I'll start at the top with the alligator. The alligator is a really nice sized puppet. So when you look at it and it costs $17.25, you might think, wow, that's a lot. But when you see how big he actually is, and that he has teeth that look like alligator teeth, these are a hard plastic. And I'm not a particularly good puppeteer, but the spot where your arm goes in is in the center here. So you can tell quite a story with this alligator. He's got kind of that beady eye, but he's nice sized, he's soft. He's not slimy because he doesn't have alligator skin, but he's a good quality, nice, sturdy puppet. And then the next one is the axolotl, which Autumn had to convince me was a thing. I didn't know axolotls were a thing. Apparently on social media, there's something. But the puppet part is in the center under his mouth. And he's got nice little feathery gills. And there's actually a fact sheet that comes attached to him from the puppet company. But he's growing on me.
They're the cutest things in the world.
I thought, oh my word, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen when I first got it. But he's growing on me. I do say. And if you were going to do Jody's activity with the axolotl stuff that she had, it'd be fun if they could actually find the puppet. They would be surprised, wouldn't they? Now this is one, again, it's halfway through the body is where your hand goes in. And it is the softest, most beautiful black cat. And he has such a long tail. Oh my goodness. And he has beautiful eyes. And he's a nice size. So it's easy for you to see, like I say, what size. This is the black cat that's listed on the sheet, and it's only $14.25, and it's as big as the alligator. Sometimes I'm not sure how they price them. Somebody mentioned a collared or a frilled lizard. This one's called a collared lizard. And again, the puppet part is through the middle of the tummy. But oh my gosh, look at that tail. Isn't that crazy? He does have kind of wicked looking teeth. So if you wanted to scare somebody, you probably could. You can open his mouth and wave his arms around. And that's the collared lizard. Pretty good sized, like I say. All right, the next one, it was an autumn purchase as well. It's called the Dragon Wristlet. Something to do with sorcerers. He has a little tiny spot where you put your finger in up here. And it's a slick type fabric that he's made out of, slick and shiny. And then his tail wraps around, and my wrist is too big, but it wraps around and there's a magnet in there. So if someone with a smaller wrist, it would snap together, and then you could be a sorcerer with your own dragon wristlet. This one is my favorite for the year. It's the Lemur. And I see that he's right at $20, but look at how big he is, and look at this luscious tail he has. Oh my word. And he is one that if you were good at puppets, which I'm not, as I said, you could have him host your summer reading story times. If you're doing story times in person or even virtually, puppets add so much. As I'm looking to find someone who can do a puppet workshop. If anybody knows anybody who's really great with puppets, let me know, because I would love to host a puppet workshop so people can get good with them. Because if you're good with these, the kids think they're alive. I mean, they just love seeing and pet like a dog or a cat or something, and they just love to pet them. This one has these little toes. The Folkmanis is so great with their details. But yes, I do love this Lemur puppet. Now we have a few mini puppets listed there, and those come in groups of 3 and 4, but you can order just one if you choose to. So when we put the price down there, that's the price for one. When we say mini puppets, we mean mini. So here's the mini orca, or no, that's not the orca, that's the shark. Here's the mini orca. And he's, what is that, about 4 inches. And he can fit on your finger. And so there's the orca. The shark's a little bit bigger, a little bit meatier. And he's got, like I say, they make the teeth out of a plastic. They're not sharp, they wouldn't hurt anyone, but they look kind of wicked. This is my least favorite. Autumn made me get it. It's a rattlesnake. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it actually does rattle. And you put your finger in the head, and then you have this snake in your hand. You really could make him look like he's looking around for somebody to bite. Look at those eyes on that thing. Like I say, and then there's his tail. The rattle's there, and it makes noise. I don't like that one. And then the turtle, he's cute. And he's not very big. You can see the size of my hand. But if you're really good, you can draw his head back in or poke his head out. You can see his little tail on the back with his back feet. And the shell is printed. It's a printed piece of fabric, but it's actually really pretty.
Perfect for the tortoise and the hare.
That would work for the tortoise and the hare. Let's see, who's next? The porcupine. The porcupine, fortunately, is not lifelike because he does not have quills. His fur looks like quills though, if you shake it up. See how it actually looks like he has quills, and you can put your fingers in the front legs and make his head go bob. His mouth does not open, and he does have a little bit of a tail back here. He does have, I don't know, I wouldn't call them claws. It's kind of a leatherette for front feet and back feet. They always include facts. So that's interesting, you know, facts of interest. And another thing about the porcupine quills, a story. I think it's a tall tale, actually. Yes, an Iroquois folk tale about the quills. And then, you know, if you're talking about tails, what kind of a critter are you going to talk about? A skunk. The skunk has one of the most recognizable tails that the kids will always know it's the skunk.
The benefit of this one is it doesn't stink.
True. No stinkiness here. And this one, his mouth does open. See if I can show it. Oh, there it is.
You can
There's a
see how
little-
Jody's scratch and sniff book, if it would have the skunk smell, but have with it.
Right, you could get the skunk and the scratch and sniff book, and then you'd have quite a program going, you know, if he throws his tail up, and there we go. This one feels misunderstood because he's really quite lovable. Let's see, who's next? Oh, I know. The peacock is next. And this is the one that they call the small peacock. The place for your hand in this one, let me see here, is right behind his legs. Because then you can put it's like putting on a glove, and you can move these feathers around, or you can put one finger in the head of the peacock and he can nod at you. He's really got a pretty comb. It's sparkly. Yes, he knows he's beautiful. But the feathers really are very ornate and pretty. And as I said, this one's called the small peacock. So if you go on the Folk Manus website and look at puppets, you'll see the different names. And there is one that's called the large peacock. So there's one that's bigger than this. But we were trying to keep the puppets under the $20, under $15 for most of them, just to give you an idea of what you could get if you wanted to have puppets in your library. Because as I said, kids just love puppets. Some libraries let kids take home the puppets. And if you're going to do that, you're going to need good quality, because they're going to take a lot of abuse and you're going to have to run them through the laundromat on a regular basis. So be sure and get good quality puppets if you're going to lend to them. And the best quality I know is Folk Manus. And they don't pay me. So they're really good quality. This is the small red fox. I think it's the small red fox. Again, his mouth opens. And he has long fur and soft feet and ears. I would need to take a brush to this tail. But he's about the length. With his tail, he runs from my fingertips to my elbow. And that's the small red fox. And he thinks he's pretty sly. But those are the ones that we got because we thought they would have recognizable tails. We're going to do a statewide puppet order. So anyone in the state that wants to order puppets, we are going to do that, and we need to know what puppets you want by the end of April. So April 30th is the date. We'll be sending out an email. Again, we get nothing for it. So we charge you the half price with the 15% bump that the company does, and we get them to you without charge. With an invoice, you don't have to pay in advance. We order what you need, get it to you with an invoice, and then you can have puppets to do either virtual programming or in-person programming for this summer.